Hi, bestie. Welcome back to my podcast. I am so excited to talk to you today. I'm always excited to talk to you, but I have the craziest thing happened to me yesterday, and we must discuss it. I was going to record this episode last night. I had the full intent to get home, record this episode last night, but I was too scared to record it in the dark. I was like, I cannot, I've got to wait until it's daylight. So, okay. Basically, I think I told you, but I am planning on moving. My lease here ends March 1st, and I'm pretty sure that I can go month to month here if I can't find the right place in time, but I just think I'm really, really overpaying for this place, and I could be living in a house for the same amount of money that I'm paying here with a yard and a slightly different location that I actually would prefer to live in that location, which I will get into where I live once I move. I trust you, but there's always creepy people. But anyway, where I live, I don't need to be here. I don't even necessarily like the area. Well, I don't not like the area, but you know what I mean? I would rather be in a more neighborhoody vibe with a yard that I could take the girls out on a leash and quieter. That's what I moved to LA for, was more of a home vibe. And I love this apartment, but for example, I went to my friend's house recently, and she lives in Laurel Canyon, and her entire 2-floor beautiful house with views of the canyon, beautiful bedroom, back and front yard, just so pretty, is less than I'm paying here. So if that gives you any idea, I just I'm just what am I, So anyway, I have been looking to move because my lease, it's February 1st, which is crazy. First of all, January did not count. Quick side note, January did not count as a month, at least for me. I don't know if you feel this way, but my January was a mess. I feel I was so reckless. I was being so unhealthy. I was just it was a terrible month for me, but I feel it took until last week. I'm finally working out every day again, cooking at home, eating healthy, sleeping normally. January does not count for me. It was a reckless month. Anything that I did in January, I don't want to ever talk about again. January is over. But anyway, so I have a month to find a new place, unless I go month to month here. And ideally, I didn't know places like this existed until a few months ago, but there's a lot of places in LA that have they have a house, and then on the same property, they'll have a studio above the garage with a kitchenette and a bathroom and whatever, kind of a little mini guest house. And Celia and I, she has been my best friend since 4th grade. We grew up together. She's my sister. And we were kind of talking, and this is being hopeful. Hopefully these are some of the last years that we could live together, because assuming in a few years we'll be married with kids in a house. Who knows with the way things are going for me, but that's my hope. So we're kind of this is the last year we could do something like this. We were why don't we find a house that has a guest house property on it, and Celia would live in the guest house, I would live in the house. And then first of all, that would make me feel better, because there's something creepy about living in a house versus an apartment, because first of all, I feel in an apartment, you're not really living alone. I've lived alone since I was 22, and I'm 26 now. Ugh, I'm 26. Yeah, I'm 26 now. Ugh, gross. I'm almost 27. Anyway, well, that's really dramatic. I will be 27 in August. Anyway, I feel I've never lived in a house. I share a floor with someone. I share walls with someone, which drives me crazy, by the way, because my neighbor is so loud. Oh my God, it's a whole, whatever. But at the same time, I never really feel I'm alone. If something really bad happened, there would be people around me, immediately. Whereas in a house, you don't share walls with anyone. Obviously you have neighbors, but I don't know. And my address was leaked in New York to the point where I had to make a police report because this person kept saying they were going to show up and that they had found the listing, whatever. It was this whole thing. So it was really creepy. And then here too, I'll get messages from people who hate me, being you suck, and I know where you live, and they'll say my address. Which, side note, I don't really know why people have leaked my address on Reddit, and I just don't understand like, you can hate me all you want, but like, there's creepy people on the internet. I just don't know why you would like leak someone's address. But here, like, I'm not thrilled people leaked my address, but like, no one knows my apartment number. Do you know what I mean? So I don't feel like creeped out. But in a house, like, obviously it's like one house. Anyway, my whole point being, it's like I would feel a lot more safe if Celia was on the property, and she would feel a lot more safe because we would have each other. Like, we would still be having a separate space but be right next to each other. And I think that is key because Celia and I, we lived together our senior year of college, and it was a blast, but that was like in college. And I am like, I mean, I've been a neat freak my whole life, and I kind of just like whatever. And I understand, like, I like take full, like, I am obnoxious about how clean I want things and how like orderly. I understand, like, I have an abnormal, like, I'm a control freak. I'm a Virgo, and I feel like I'm very much a Virgo. Like, everything needs to be perfect and everything needs to be clean. Like, I vacuum twice a day. I like wipe everything down twice a day. And Celia doesn't like care as much. Like, she's a lot more chill about her space than I am. And like, things that I find gross, like, she wouldn't find gross, not even in like a shading her way. I am just seriously like very type A aggressive over things. Point being, we know that we could not live in the same house because it would just like immediately we would fight. Even last night when we toured this house, it was like almost perfect except for what I'm going to get into. But she didn't have like a kitchenette in the studio, so we were like trying to figure out how we could share a kitchen, and like we already started fighting like 2 seconds into sharing a kitchen. So we just can't share a kitchen. We could share like literally anything else except for a kitchen or a bathroom or a bedroom. We could not share a living space together. But the whole point is that I'm rambling on about is that we could live on the same property, and it's like the best of both worlds. And it sounds like that would be like crazy expensive to find like a house with a guest house, but it's really like, it would still be less than I'm paying now for this place to do it that way. So that's what we're looking for. And we got like a real estate agent, but he didn't really seem to know what he was doing. So I think we're going to find a new one. But we toured our first place last night, okay? And it was like adorable. Like, I love a Spanish style home. I think they're so cute and charming and perfect, and I love them. But I have never, ever, ever been in like a worse feeling place in my entire life, like ever. And that's what I must talk to you about today, because this is my new Roman Empire. I cannot get over this. So first of all, I must preface, well, should I tell you about the dream first or tell you about the house first? Well, before we went to go tour the house, I took a nap. And like, I don't usually nap during the day, by the way, but I feel like I've just been tired lately. But I took a nap, and I had this dream that like we went to go tour this house, and when we walked in, there was a woman there, and I had brought a bookshelf with me with all my books, and like I was putting it down, and she kept getting really mad at me for putting my books down. And I kind of was like, okay, well, I'm moving in here most likely, so can I just put my books down? But she like did not want me in the house, okay? And we keep walking through, and I see like this beautiful fireplace. It's like this turquoise fireplace, and I loved it. It was like stunning. But when I looked at it, I had like a really, really bad gut feeling. And then we keep walking through, and I go into the bathroom, and I feel like terrified in the bathroom. Like, I feel so creeped out from the bathroom, and I'm like, ugh. And then I keep walking through, and I like look, and I see an abandoned bowling alley. And Celia and I always joke that like it would be so fun to have a bowling alley. We love to go bowling. I actually one time went home with a man because he told me that he could makeshift a bowling alley on his balcony for us, which he didn't end up doing. But like, in my head, I was like, it will never work again. Like, I know this won't work, and it's like abandoned. So I felt like creeped out. And then and I promise this whole dream is like so relevant. So just like, let me rock with it, and then we'll like get into like the actual house. But then we like keep walking, and then there's like holes in the floor, and I'm like, what the hell? There's like holes in the floor. And then we go like across the way to Celia's part, which is like a separate studio. And in my dream, like, I look at her bathroom, and her bathroom's really like nice and has a good feeling. And I say to her, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous because your bathroom has such a good feeling and my bathroom has such a bad feeling. And we keep walking, and then I see more, like, I see like an abandoned basketball court, and then I see like an abandoned Ferris wheel. And then I realize like that this whole house was in an abandoned amusement park, and it had like a terrible, terrible feeling. And right as I realized that, this like train goes by, like one of those little like amusement park trains, and there's like all of these like fake people on the train, and we're like, we need to get the hell out of here, and we leave. Okay, so that was my dream. And I told Celia on the way about my dream. I was like, that was a creepy dream. And we made a joke. We were like, oh, like, hopefully like the dream is not true, you know, whatever. And anyway, so we show up to this house, and when we get there, the real estate agent, he got there like 5 minutes before us and was having like so much trouble opening the door. Like, we saw him walk in and then parked, and like 5 minutes later he still couldn't open the door, which I feel like that in itself, I don't know, is a little, maybe he just was having trouble with the door. He seemed a bit like whatever. But the outdoor was like so cute. It had like fruit trees, and like it was like landscaped like beautifully, like stunning driveway, like adorable porch, like just like imagine the most charming, cute Spanish style house you've ever seen. And he finally gets the door open, and we walk inside, and the first thing he says, which I just think is weird, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like as a real estate agent, typically you like are trying to sell a place. Obviously, I mean, that is your job. Yeah. So the first thing he says when we walk in is, wow, this is a lot better than I expected. And like, looking back, I just feel like that's like a very weird thing to say, you know? And so we're walking through the house, and I mean, it's like, it should feel so cute. Like, it's like my dream house, like perfect Spanish style, and like everything has recently been like updated. So like all the appliances and everything are new, and it's like so cute. I posted a TikTok of it if you haven't seen like a whole tour, and I'm going to post one on YouTube. Actually, oh yeah, I'll have a YouTube video of this up to when this goes up. When you're listening to this, it should be up as well of it if you want to like see. But we're walking through, and like it like should be so cute, but I just like in my gut, I have like a bad feeling. Like it feels like cold and like suffocating almost. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it should not have felt, and I promise it was not just because it was like at night, like all the lights were on. It like should have felt so homey, but it had such a bad feeling. But I was trying to ignore it, and I thought like maybe it's just because it's like empty and like there's not furniture in, and like it is nighttime. But it just felt like so, like I felt claustrophobic in there, even though it had like high ceilings. Well, not like super high, but like the same height as my ceilings here. And like it had like so many windows. Like it had like big windows everywhere, and like it had 2 balconies with like big sliding glass doors. Like it should have been so cute. I mean, you walk in and it's like a room with a fireplace, and then like a really cute archway that it gives me chills, that like goes into the dining room, and then off the dining room there's a balcony, and then like you go into the kitchen, and the kitchen is adorable, and then there's like this like built-in like little thing where you can like display like plates. I'm like getting chills talking about it. And the kitchen has a window in it, and there's a balcony off the kitchen, and then in the backyard there's like a little stone patio and like a place for like a garden. And then you walk into like Celia's, which is above the garage, which is like completely separate. But it just had this bad feeling. And then I FaceTimed my mom to show her the place, because I was like, look how cute this place is. It was adorable. So like I FaceTime her the whole place and like walk her through it. And then we go and look at Celia's place, and Celia's place like does not have this feeling. Like her place felt like open and airy and light. Even though it was so much smaller and like had so many less windows, her place felt like totally safe. Like it was very, like it doesn't make sense really like how much safer it felt, but it wasn't part of the actual house. And when we went and like toured, when we went like outside of the house, maybe this is normal, but I feel like it was like a little weird. When we went outside of the house, like to go above the garage to see Celia's spot, the real estate agent literally waited outside. Like, he did not want to be in the house, it seemed. Like, I mean, maybe he was just giving us space, but like, he seemed very uncomfortable in the house too. Like, looking back, like, he was very, like, he seemed like he wanted to get the hell out of there. And so then after we like tour the whole house, whatever, we go back into like the main house after like looking at Celia's studio, and we talk with the real estate agent, and we're like, oh, like, it is really cute. Like, we like it, whatever. And we're like, we're going to like go talk about it. But anyway, like, we were like asking about parking because it had like a single car garage. And we were like, well, where can we like park our other car? Which, first of all, as a real estate agent, like, he should have known this. There was a whole driveway, which like no one noticed. Like, the other car would go in the driveway. So I don't know how no one noticed that. Maybe he was like flustered from how creepy it was. I don't really know. Anyway, so we're like talking about this, and then he's like, oh, like, where did you guys grow up? Because like we were talking about like being stressed about parking on the street. And he was like, you guys didn't grow up in LA? And we were like, no. And then he asked where we had grown up, and we told him, and he was like, oh my God, I've been there one time in my life, and it was to go to an amusement park. And Celia and I did not realize this until like we were like on a walk later after touring it. But my whole dream was about an abandoned amusement park. And then he randomly, the one thing he says to us is that he's been to an amusement park. That is so random and so weird. And like, that just gave me like such chills. Like, I don't know if that gives you chills the way it gives me chills, but I think that's like the creepiest thing that has ever happened. Okay. And he also, side note, used to be in the circus. And like in my dream, it was very much like circus vibe, like amusement park vibe, okay? Which is so creepy. So then to parallel to my dream more. So basically Celia and I, we leave the house, we get in the car, and like neither of us are really talking. And then we start talking about like, oh, like this is how we could share the kitchen, like maybe. And like we literally start like fighting on the way to Panera, like about like how we could figure out how to share the kitchen. Cause like the place was like so cute. So we were trying to figure out a way to make it work. And then we just like park the car, and we're like, we cannot share a kitchen, like this will not work. And then I turned to Celia and I'm like, can I be honest too? Like, I had a really, really bad feeling in that house. Like, I don't know what it was because it doesn't make sense, but I had a really bad feeling. And she was like, oh my God, I didn't know if I was just thinking that like there was no furniture in there, but I also had a terrible feeling. And Celia like never gets like feelings like this. Like, she doesn't really get creeped out by stuff, and she was like so creeped out as well. And then I was like, well, where did you feel the worst feeling? Because in my head, I felt like the scariest feeling out of like the whole house was in front of the fireplace, and then like the archway going into the living room, and then the archway going into the like one of the bathrooms that like was across from the fireplace had like this terrible, like I felt sick to my stomach feeling in there, like nauseous. Even like just thinking back to it, like it gives me chills, like it makes me like nauseous thinking about it. And Celia agreed that she felt the worst feeling from the fireplace to the bathroom. And the weird thing too is like the fireplace, so it was like a direct line across from the bathroom, like, and that whole area had a really, really like dark, scary feeling. And the fact that we both felt it there is so weird. And so then we start like talking about like how it just had this like dark feeling, and how Celia's studio like didn't have like a dark feeling, whatever, but like it had such a dark feeling in here. And if you remember in my dream too, I told you like when I first walked into the house to tour it, I like got a really sick feeling when I saw the fireplace. And that's like the first thing that gave me a bad feeling here. And not like I forgot about my dream. Like it was not a subconscious thing. Like I really forgot about my dream. It was like, I don't know. And then also in my dream, I told Celia, like, I'm jealous of your bathroom because mine feels scary. And in real life, like my bathroom felt really scary in this house, and Celia's felt safe because it wasn't part of the house. Like something creepy as hell happened there. So anyway, then I called my mom back because I had like FaceTimed her the house, and I like told her like, I don't know, like I feel like it just had a really, really dark feeling there. And my mom told me that basically my dad always makes fun of me and my mom because he's like, ghosts are not real, like none of that is real. So my mom told me she was gonna call me back later because my dad would have been like, you guys like are crazy, but she was gonna call me back later and tell me that like I should not move into that house because it had like a dark energy. And my mom through the FaceTime felt the exact same thing, and that just like gave me such big chills because like my mom grew up in a haunted house, like a really, really scary, evil, dark haunted house. And like she said like through the FaceTime, she was like, something is really off about that house. And she also was like, it doesn't really make sense because it's so cute. So we all felt it. And then Celia and I asked my mom where she felt the dark energy the most. And she also felt it in the same place, like in the archway across from the bathroom and the fireplace. Like she also felt the dark energy there. So like without us like prompting her to say that at all. So we all felt like this really creepy, evil energy, which just like, gives me chills. And I swear the real estate agent felt it too, because who says like when you walk into a place, oh, like this is better than I thought it would be. Then I posted a TikTok, okay? And wait, I have to find this TikTok comment. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is so creepy. So someone commented on my TikTok I posted of the house. They said, listen, bestie, I can read auras, and the shot of you guys walking through the archway, she had a deep reddish brown aura, which can indicate rage, rivalry, etc. Something was affecting the vibe in there for sure. Actually, I added the for sure. She just said affecting. I don't know why I added for sure. Anyway, like we didn't even say in the TikTok that the archway scared us, but everyone agrees it was the archway, which is just so creepy. And in my dream as well, I remember how I told you like when we first got in there was like a woman who like kept getting mad at me for like putting my stuff down, and like it didn't make sense because I was like, well, I'm like moving in here, I should be able to put my stuff down. Celia and I both agree that it was like a female energy, like it was like a woman who was like really angry there. I don't know how to explain it, but like we both like immediately felt like angry woman vibes. And then like in my dream there was like a woman who like did not want us like in there, did not want us, like she was like selling the house to us, but like did not want us putting our stuff down. So that's just so weird. Okay. And then so Celia and I are like sitting in Panera, we both like feel literally sick to our stomachs because like that is how bad the energy was in there. And then when we finally like started talking about it, we like both just felt so nauseous. And so we decided to like try to look up like history on the property because we're like, something had to have happened there. Okay. Like we're sure something had to have happened there. And we couldn't find anything. But so the house was built in 1929. And when I told my mom that too, she was like, that gave me chills because I imagined like this like creepy like Gatsby-esque party going on there, but it had like something was just off. And she was like, that gave me chills because I was like literally imagining like the 1930s. I don't know, just all creepy. And so the house is almost 100 years old, which I know like if I want a Spanish style house to rent, like it's probably going to have to be like 100 years old. That's like how old they all are. But anyway, very old house. And I don't think an old house means like bad, but this place had like not a good energy. And so then we like look up the history of like the property, and it was sold for the first time in 1998. Okay. And then after that, it was sold 8 times or 7 or 8 times in a 5-year period. And like some times like there'd be someone who would live there for 1 month and then sell it. And this wasn't when it was like being rented. This was being sold. I just feel like selling a house after like a month of moving in, and then someone would like move in and it'd be like 5 months and then they would sell it. Like I just feel like, I mean, that's gotta mean something, right? Like to sell a house 8 times in a 5-year period, I just think that's so creepy. And when we were talking to the real estate agent about it too, he was like, we were like, oh well, like is anyone else looking at the property? And he was like, I don't know, like I've had a lot of trouble getting in touch with the owner, like the owner's kind of weird. And he was like, but if you really want it, like we can apply through this other thing and like just wait for the owner to get back to us, whatever. And he said that the place had been on the market for 56 days, which I know isn't like super long, but for this place it was like an insane price for like everything it had. And I feel like things like in New York and LA, I mean, I guess I know New York more than LA, but like go pretty fast. I just feel like 56 days is a long time for something this perfect to be on the market. And the fact that he like couldn't get in touch with the owner, I don't know, that just like that feels weird. And Celia and I both agree. So they did like a bunch of renovations, which I don't think them renovating the place is creepy. Celia thinks that's creepy. I just think like they probably just like were like updating the place before they sold it. But it had like this just like fake feeling, and I don't know how to describe it, but like in my dream too, like everything seemed good, but like it had like a fake feeling. Like everything, all the appliances were very nice, okay, and like all the fixtures were very nice, like everything was really nice, but it felt just like fake and cold. And when I posted like the TikTok of the tour without prompting any of you guys were all like, oh my God, like it feels so suffocating in there. Like I mean, I am just so creeped out. I mean, that was the creepiest place I have ever stepped foot in my life. And I could not sleep. Like I was so scared to go to sleep last night because I was like, what if like the energy attached to me or whatever? And I got like all scared to go to sleep. But I think like whatever energy is in that house just like did not want anyone moving in. Like we felt like so unwelcome there. And if you haven't seen the video on my TikTok, or I'm going to post one on YouTube too, like please watch it and like tell me, like message me and tell me if like you feel it too. Cause I feel like you can feel it through the screen. And when I posted on my Instagram story last night, like a photo of just the kitchen. And like so many of you guys like messaged me and were like, before I even read the text, cause like I wrote like a whole thing about how I was like, sure, it's haunted. A lot of people like messaged me and were like, before I even read the text, like I had such a like bad feeling about this place. I don't know. There was something really off happened there, and I want to know what, but I cannot find any history on it. So like I'm going to like research more, and if I find anything, I will update you next week. But long story short, I mean, that was creepy as hell, and we will not be moving in there. I messaged the real estate agent back and I was like, I don't think we're gonna go with it. And I was like, we need a place with like a kitchenette. And then I also like, I could tell he felt the energy too. So I was like, also I feel like there was like a dark energy there. Try to like prompt him to be like, yeah, I felt it too. But obviously he's trying to sell the place, so like he didn't agree. He was just like, no worries, like we'll keep looking. But like the fact that he like did not say one good thing about the place except that it's better than he expected. Like I want to get a new real estate agent because I don't really think he's great at his job. But like my one thing is like I want to see him in person to ask like if he felt the energy too. But that was just the creepiest. Like I've had like a few experiences with like haunted places, but nothing has ever felt like that dark in my entire life. Like it like seriously made me nauseous, and it gives me chills to think back about. So I'm just so glad we did not ignore that feeling and like move in, because I don't think we would have been welcome there. I think it would have been like a really horrifying experience, and that makes me like sick to my stomach, like imagining living there, which sucks because it was such a cute place. I mean, it was perfect, but except there was no kitchen for Celia either. So anyway, we are going to continue the search. If you are a real estate agent in LA and you know of any properties that have like a house with a studio with a kitchenette off of it, please let me know. We're trying to move March 1st. But I mean, I might extend my lease like 1 month, but ideally, oh my gosh, my shirt is backwards. We're trying to move March 1st. So we will see, but hopefully we can find a place, because I just think it would be so fun and so comforting to live on the same property, and we would just have a blast. And I do feel like it's like the last time in our lives we could really do something like this. So we're going to keep looking and hopefully find a place. But I mean, that place was the creepiest place I've ever been to in my entire life. So yeah, watch the video and message me and tell me what you think. I must know if you can feel it too, because like I feel it and felt it so strongly. Ugh, like I'm scared to edit the YouTube video. Celia was like in charge of the YouTube filming for me because she is the best. And so she was like recording on the camera, and like she said she just kind of like free recorded and like didn't really pay attention. Like I'm wondering if she caught something. Like I'm scared to edit the footage. I have to edit it like in the daytime today right now because I'm too scared to like look at it at nighttime. Ugh, creepy, creepy, creepy. Okay. Well, I'm going to end this episode here, and I will keep you updated on this apartment house search journey. Hopefully we find something, because I really want to make this work, but we cannot live in a haunted place, and we cannot share a kitchen. I mean, we would like get so mad at each other. We would kill each other. So anyway, love you so much, and I will see you next week.